Welcome to another episode of HPCritical. It is a podcast where Jarrell, Brandon, Kelly, and Gabe talk all things gaming. And this week we're going to get right into it because we got a lot of shit to discuss and a little bit of time to do it in. I hope you're all doing wonderful. I'm doing wonderful. It's great to see your beautiful faces for anyone watching. You get to see you're lucky enough to get to see our beautiful faces every week. And for those listening, you're lucky enough to hear our beautiful voices every week. And thank you for all the wonderful support we've been getting for everyone who continues to watch us and listen to us every week. We appreciate it. On to the big news for this week. First of all, Brandon's probably going to have to leave us at some point. So we're going to start with, it is Switchmas today, March 3rd, 2022. The Switch has been out for 5 freaking years. And my question to you all is, do you think that the Switch is an essential part of gaming in the current gaming sphere as it is today?
What do you mean by that?
Do you think that if you don't, okay, I'll rephrase it. If there's someone out there that does not have a Switch, do you think it is essential as an essential purchase for them after 5 years of being on the market with the games that it's come out with its utility? Do you think that after 5 years, it's worth a purchase if someone hasn't bought one by now?
Yeah.
Really? Kelly, you think so?
Well, yeah. I mean, what other handheld console can you take anywhere?
I mean, do you need one?
Yeah. I go like on vacation and shit. I need something to entertain me. What am I going to do? Not play video games?
I mean, you can play on your phone. You can take your PlayStation. You can take your Xbox. You can take your PC. Shit.
Well, you can't take your PC camping. And I've played Mario Kart while camping. So
technically you could take your PC camping. You shouldn't, but technically you could.
Not in a tent. I mean, you could.
Also, technically you could.
I mean, that would be terrible.
Well, Kelly, I mean, you've had your Switch, I think, the least amount of all of us. And that is not a shot. I'm sorry if it sounds like one. Definitely not a shot against you. How do you feel about it now that you've had it so far?
I mean, I feel like it's something that I play a lot just because you can just pick it up, turn it on, it's in your hand or it's on your TV. Like, it's very easy to use. There's a lot of different ways to use it. There's a lot of games on it. Like, I played Just Dance on it and Animal Crossing, but like, I don't know. I feel like it's a lot easier to play than a lot of the other stuff. Like, starting up a computer, it takes a long time. Starting up the Switch, super easy.
Factual. Takes seconds. Brandon, do you think that the Switch is an essential part of gaming after 5 years?
I feel like if you're someone that's like dedicated to the hobby that is gaming, then yes, I do think it is an essential piece of hardware, because really it kind of changed the game in terms of like what gaming could be, if we're being perfectly honest here, because it's really what finally closed the divide between console gaming and handheld gaming, right? Because if you wanted to play these games that like are big, you had to play them at home, and that was pretty much it. Or if you took a console from a friend's house, to your earlier point about technically you could take them anywhere, but you still needed a TV essentially or some kind of monitor. And then of course you had your handhelds like your Game Boys, your Game Gears, DS, 3DSs, whatever as a handheld. Now the Switch was really just it's in terms of like stuff that Nintendo has created, that like some of it has like, that was a cute little gimmick. It's kind of gone now. This is the one that I feel that has made the most sense in probably the last few decades, because it's really just feels like something that's just that much more essential. The fact that you can have that TV to play on your big screen, or you want to just take it with you and then it's quick. Like, obviously you could take the console, but it's like, it takes time. You need a whole bunch of equipment. You literally just take a Switch and it's right there. You got all your games and they play almost all the same, whether you're playing console or handheld. Yeah, no, I really do think it's essential in that sense, that you just do have all these games. And honestly, it does seem like other and parts of the industry are trying to catch on to that. Like, we're seeing Valve Steam Deck, where it's giving you the ability to play your PC games on the go. So we know that it's something that a lot of other developers are looking at and realizing that this is something special.
You know, what's so funny? I was thinking that, because I was just thinking, I've been taking my entire PS5 to my friends' houses to play Final Fantasy 14 together, like if we'll like land 14 or something. So like I've been packing my entire PS5, which is actually easier, rather, not cheaper, than packing my PC to take to my friend's house. Like I just put
Yeah,
the PS5
I can
in a duffel
imagine.
bag. Now, the Steam Deck, since you brought it up, I just
Sure.
watched someone play Final Fantasy 14 on the Steam Deck for 20 minutes, and I thought, this is the solution to my problem of packing my fucking PS5. Instead, I could just take the Steam Deck, which is like
Yeah.
a bigger Switch. And I was like, this
Mhm.
is so brilliant. I don't want to keep taking my PS5 everywhere. Now, of course, the
that's-
screen's smaller. You know, I've got to run on battery. It's not the same experience. The worst part is that I would have to repurchase the licenses for the game for PC. Because for anyone who doesn't know, you either have a PC license for Final Fantasy 14 or you have a PlayStation license for Final Fantasy 14, or you're crazy like me and you have purchased both. So like I have certain expansions on like PS5 and certain on PC. Yeah. So that would be an issue aside from not really, because then they'll have like a bundle for like $20. Like you can get like the first 4 expansions for $20 on PC, which is a steal essentially. But you know, the Steam Deck is a part of that. And what I will say about Switch, because I kind of went off on a tangent there, is that yes, the Switch, I think after 5 years, is an essential piece of hardware for any gamer. It has such a huge library of indie titles that I think should be highlighted. So even if you're not trying to play, you know, first party Nintendo games because you don't give a shit about Kirby or Mario like me, it is a wonderful piece of hardware for things like and I'll bring up Breath of the Wild, which I'm sure Gabe is going to bring up eventually, but Breath of the Wild in itself is a video game classic standard at this point, right? Like it's referenced so often as what open world could be. The Switch shows you how far fucking Pokemon is gone. We're about to get an open world Pokemon in 2022. Like whatever year old me playing Pokemon Crystal doesn't understand that that's a thing. Octopath Traveler is still one of the best JRPGs ever made in ever. Yeah, it's available on Xbox, but it was originally a Switch exclusive. The Switch is great for JRPGs. I'm a huge JRPG fan. If you are a JRPG fan, get the fucking Switch. I've played the original Final Fantasy VII for the first time. I played Final Fantasy IX for the first time. I'm playing Final Fantasy VIII for the first time, all because they're available on the Switch and I can take it on the go. Every time I'm going somewhere, I throw that shit in my bag. And now they have an OLED one, which is great because the battery is great. The screen is fucking gorgeous. It's like my iPhone, but bigger, and it's wonderful. And I don't even play on the TV anymore because like half of the games literally look better handheld because some of them look like shit because it's the Switch, no offense. And now I just can play fucking Majora's Mask for the first time. You know, like the library is amazing. It's so versatile. If you haven't bought one yet, if you have $300, it's an essential for me after 5 years. I think the library's there between NDs, JRPGs, and whatever you're into. If you're into like really sexy hentai visual novels, it's on the Switch. It's out there, you know, tentacle titty stuff is there.
Okay.
It's there. It's there. Sports, it's there. Fortnite, it's there. Racing, everything's there. Chocobo Racing GP's coming out. It's there. Triangle Strategy's coming out tomorrow. It's all anything you can think of. You want to play a scary game like Kelly? They have a shit ton. Now, what you shouldn't do, the only thing you should not do is play Kingdom Hearts on the Switch. Don't do it. Horrible.
Don't do that.
Don't do any cloud gaming. Just
don't
general.
do any cloud games.
Cloud gaming's trash. But yeah, it's an essential piece of hardware for me. What about you, Gabe?
I definitely think it's an essential piece of hardware. And my reason for it is because the greatest game in the universe is on it and you have no other way of playing it. I mean, you could emulate it on PC, but like you never really know how long it's going to be up for because one day Nintendo might just be like, damn, that's crazy. You're having fun? Gone.
Rip.
It's gone.
The ninjas.
They're known for doing it literally out of the blue. Like there won't be like, Nintendo has spoilers. No, it's like, Nintendo has called cease and desist on this one website. It's like, yeah, what happened to everything else before? But yeah, but no, I think it's really nice having such a light piece of hardware, you know, to carry around. Like we brought up the Steam Deck, but Chief, the Steam Deck's chunky. Like the Steam Deck
is chunky.
Did I put it away? I was gonna bring it. It kind of looks as thick as the Wii U controller. am I wrong? Does it not? Like that's how
I have both next to me. I could do a nice.
You have the Steam Deck next to you?
Not the Steam Deck. I have the Wii U gamepad. It's dusty as hell, which is that's what a Wii U gamepad is these days.
Yeah, so is mine. Mine is buried in
That's
the corner.
a thick boy right there.
It's a pretty thick boy.
Yeah, like aside from that bar on the back on the top, I think the sides are about as thick as that is.
You know what? I 3D printed a thingy so you guys could see it.
Well, show it to us.
I don't have it.
Whatever. Anyway,
but I'll show it to you like later.
Well, we'll remind you to bring it along.
That's a size comparison going. It's about the same size, honestly.
Gabe Newell did not come to my house with my Steam Deck because
because we're in Florida. No one wants to go to Florida. Well, you're in Florida. I'm not. But yeah, I think the Switch is, even though we get on it all the time about the graphics and are they actually using the entire power of the Switch, or are they just cheaping out on visual and stuff. I think it's a right step towards where, I don't want to say where gaming as a whole should go, but like bringing back handheld consoles is something I'd like to see again. We had the Game Boys, the PSPs, the 3DSs. Those were all fun. And then it was like, I'm assuming because of sales and whatnot, Sony was like, you know what, forget having a PSP. It's just all in on
the Vita is still amazing.
And exactly, yeah, that's something
I'm literally
I hear
playing
a lot.
FF6 on it right now.
That's something I hear a lot from you guys is how amazing the Vita is. It's like, yo, Sony, you have the money now to gander a little bit, to have a little experimentation with with a handheld console. I don't like the way you slid back into the screen.
Shut the fuck up.
Like,
I was going to get
look
my
how
Vita.
beautiful that
I was
looks.
just using this like right before the podcast. It was
so nice.
It's my favorite color, so I had to get, for listeners, I have my beautiful orange Vita, bright neon orange Vita, which is my favorite color, that I was just using to play Final Fantasy VI for the first time. I ain't play it, I just turned it on because that's what I do with games nowadays. Just turn it on, look at it, and turn it on. So next question. Do you guys play your handheld OLED Switch or regular Switch, mostly handheld or on TV?
My God, it used to be a more even split, but God, it's been mostly handheld these days. I'm gonna say it's like 80% handheld these days. It's perfect because like I usually do it on my work breaks, or if I'm just trying to catch up on some videos that I just want to listen to, I'll just like play doing that. A little plug to our other podcast that we do here at HPCritical, JRPG Club. We are playing through Final Fantasy 12. That's honestly how I'm making the majority of the progress to that game, because I very rarely have time to just sit on my TV and go through that. I have to like be playing that handheld for most of the time. That's especially good when I'm doing non-story stuff like hunts or just exploring these big ass dungeons. It's perfect for that.
It also just looks better on Switch handheld than it does on TV because
that's fact.
When you put it on TV, you gotta see how bad it looks. Did you say it depends on what TV you have? What does that mean?
Depends on what TV you have. Well, for example, my monitor screen, I could actually change how the visual looks, and I didn't find that out until about a week ago. But also, I ordered the I don't want to get up and get it.
Don't. It's fine.
It's right. It's
okay, never
right
mind.
in front of me. It's right in front of me. I'm just being lazy.
Bruh, I've been trying to do a quick question so we can move on.
No
and
quick questions.
Wait
no
for
quick
Gabe
questions. You got to see this now because I want to show this off to somebody who knows. But
I got this little thing here. The M Classic. Where's my camera? The M Classic. Okay. So what this does is this actually ups the visual performance of whatever you connect it to. So whereas these peasants are running Pokemon in 1080p on the big screen, I'm running it at 1440 with no frame drop. Okay. But also that's $100 that I don't think is actually worth it. So don't do that.
Bruh, first of all, I need you to show me what your game looks like, because I don't care if it's in 1440p. I feel like the textures on that game aren't going to make it look much better than it was before anyway.
It fixes textures too.
Well, there's literally an art style that Pokemon is that I don't think any screen can fix. So I need you to show me that this $100. I need you to show me that this $100 makes the graphics look better. because I feel like that art style is going to look as it looks no matter how good the graphics are. So I really need you to show me why you look so like that. Open your eyes, boy. We're in the middle of the
No, I'm
podcast.
sorry, my ankle started hurting.
What the fuck? Okay, Kelly, what about you? Do you play mostly handheld or on or TV?
If I play Just Dance, I play on the TV, but if I play Animal Crossing, I play handheld. So
You see how easy that was, y'all? This is why Kelly is the best. That's what I wanted.
I'm sorry I put passion into my answers.
Easy answer.
From now on, my answers is gonna be yes or no's, even if it's not a yes or no question.
Okay, Gabe, why you gotta do this? Why you gotta do this?
Yes.
I just meant.
Oh, you're trying to be passionate about my answer. Like, you see how quickly Kelly does her answers?
All I'm saying is that I'm moving on now. So PlayStation. Let's talk about PlayStation for a little bit. The PS5 has had an amazing beginning of the year with Gran Turismo 7 having an 88 Metascore, Horizon Forbidden West also having an 88 Metascore, Uncharted The Legacy of Thieves Collection having an 87, Sifu having an 80. What else came out this year for the PS5?
Exclusively to the PS5?
Yes, I feel like I'm missing something. Am I missing something? Either way, those are really, really great scores for the PS5. What has Nintendo come out with this year that's gotten good scores so far? Was it Arceus and that one tomorrow?
Triangle Strategy is also getting good. Yeah, he's also getting good scores. I want to say that's it as far as Nintendo exclusives. That was like their 2 early games.
So I shouldn't just say PlayStation. I should say console companies are getting really good starts to the year. Not yet. Actually, no. Was Halo this year?
No, that was in the last year.
Oh, it was December, right?
Actually, it was November and then December.
Yeah.
Remember, they did it split. They did the multiplayer first, and then
I was gonna say good things about Game Pass, but I'm not going to, because I'm salty and bitter because, as Brandon mentioned, we were playing Final Fantasy 12 The Zodiac Age for JRPG Club, and it was taken off of Game Pass like last month randomly. Like literally February 15th came, and one of our members like tried to sign on and continue to play, and it was like, oh, this game is just gone. And I was like, no warning whatsoever. I had to
really
this really happened. My God. That's why I sent that message.
Oh wow.
I mean, luckily the game was like $6 on Xbox, literally like $6.99 pre-owned, so it wasn't a big deal. But I also tried to sign on. I had no idea that it was gone. I had to literally look it up and be like, where the fuck is this game? Like, why can I not find it? And it's fucking gone. So rip JRPG Club. Like, that was very, very sad. Also talking about more sad news, I don't know if you guys saw this, but from IGN, Activision is blaming the Microsoft deal for their inability to hire another woman onto their board of directors. So the quick summary of this is, I'll just read a quote from this article written by Rebecca Valentine. It says, Activision Blizzard claims that it's a violation of a California law that requires the company to have at least 3 women on its board of directors by the end of 2021 is due to complications with its upcoming acquisition by Microsoft, despite having 3 years to comply with the law. I'm gonna just stop it there because I feel like that's all you need to know. Activision Blizzard had 3 years at the end of 2021 to have 3 women on their board. They only have 2, and now they're saying that the reason that they only have 2 and not that third one, and they can't comply with the law, is due to the acquisition by Microsoft. How do you guys feel about that story?
The most shocking part is that they already had 2.
Totally fair. The most shocking part is that they already had 2. And this requirement is to meet and improve the diversity of the board of directors. The company retained a search firm and began interviewing potential additional female directors in 2021. However, since the company's current directors would cease to continue to serve on our board of directors upon consummation of our proposed transaction with Microsoft, we were unable to conclude the process in 2021. We will be continuing our efforts to appoint a new female director. That is another quote from this article talking about why they said that this didn't happen. Essentially, it just says that board of directors that was looking is going to be gone with this Microsoft acquisition. So they have to find someone new. However, they still had 3 years to do it. And for the past 3 years, they haven't done it. So I feel like this is a really shitty move on their part to just blame other people. There was also a story that we didn't talk about where I think it was Battlefield 2042 said that it did bad because of Halo Infinite. And it's just so funny to me that like people are blaming Microsoft for their problems. Like, that's not how this works. No one is going to feel bad for you because you fucked up in one way or another. Anyway, Brandon or Gabe, do you guys have anything to say about this failure to hire a third? It's only like one like y'all only need 3. Like you only need 3.
I'm literally right here.
Kelly's here. She can do a better job than any man on there. Seriously. You only need 3 people. The bar ain't even that fucking high. And they're probably the 2 that are there are probably white women anyway. No offense. The 2 that are there are probably white women anyway. I'm sure it's not that hard to find a third one. Come on, people. Come on. The bar is down fucking here. Okay.
It's limbo. It's funny
Yeah.
limbo with this bar.
That literally is so funny to me. If I was Microsoft and this shit happened and they blamed me, I would be like, you guys are trash. Nobody likes you. I'm trying to buy you out so that people can finally like you again. And now you're blaming me because you have no women on your board when you had 3 years to fucking do it. Well, fuck you too, bitch. Go be unlikable again. You little assholes. Nobody. Sorry. Gabe or Brandon, I'm sorry. Did you have anything to say about this story?
No, you got
I think
it.
I think it was pretty much all said.
Well, to a company that's really nice, Pokemon, because I love Pokemon. I don't know if you guys saw this, but they had a message. The Pokemon Company International is making an immediate donation of $200,000 to our partners at Global Giving to provide humanitarian relief. The nonprofit will efficiently direct the funds to community-led organizations supporting families and children affected by the crisis. This crisis being the growing crisis in Ukraine and Eastern Europe. So hats off to fucking Pokemon. They did this
Honestly.
for Black Lives Matter as well. They made another donation during Black History Month. They made another big donation. And I just love Pokemon. Blizzard, pay attention. Like, this is what y'all should be doing. Did you guys, since I was talking about the Switch, I'm jumping a little bit everywhere today, but that's okay. You guys are keeping up, right?
Yeah, I'm doing my best,
Let me know, because if you can't keep up, then the listeners can't keep up.
I don't know. I feel like most of our listeners are smarter than me, so I think they're keeping up pretty good.
Sometimes I regret asking the questions that
It's
I ask.
okay because they can't beat me in Smash.
That is not always the solution.
It is when you're not that smart, buddy.
I mean, okay.
That's
What
where
if
he
they
hiked
don't-
the stats.
What if they
I
don't
wouldn't
have-
know.
Fair, because she did. You technically wouldn't know if you could beat Kelly, because you've never
I know I
played
can
her.
beat Kelly.
You've never played her. You
No,
have
I can beat
absolutely no
Kelly.
idea. You have
No,
idea
I
you've
can
never played her.
100% beat Kelly.
No, I meant I
Like,
wouldn't know because I'm smart. I don't have to like.
yeah, you see, that's also the other reason. That's how I know I'd win.
There
If
you
you're
go.
smart, your skill
Fair.
in Smash declines.
Very, very fair.
I'm like a nice middle. I'm not as smart as Kelly, but I can beat her in Smash. I'm not as good at Smash as Gabe, but I'm smarter. So there we go.
This
I'm not-
also
I'm like the middle.
I'm not gonna lie. Last week, I was crushing my entire Smash career. I was getting my ass beat. Sorry, go ahead, Drew.
nowhere in my mind did I think that y'all was going to try to compete to see who's dumber. That was not on my podcast.
No, that wasn't on the docket. I was like,
at
intelligence.
all. I feel like
Where'd you-
Kelly and
where-
I are,
Where'd
like,
you put your life
up here
stats?
and-
Did you max it into Smash stats, or did you max it into intelligence?
he clearly maxed it in Smash stats.
Yeah.
So Bandai Namco has informed its Japanese staff that they will receive a pay increase from this April. The average monthly salary will be increased by 50,000 yen. The Elden Ring publisher, they're raising all employees' salaries in Japan because they're awesome. So, knowing this, what do you think this means? Like going forward, do you think this is something that developers should do based on the success of a game? Do you think it'll never happen in the West? Yes, Gabe, do you have something to say?
I have a question. Are they raising it by 50,000 yen like annually, or is that the pay increase?
The average monthly salary will be increased by 50,000 yen. That's what this
For anybody who doesn't know the conversion, that's $433.46 in US dollars.
Yeah, it's an average of 50,000 yen per month for all employees. In addition, the starting salary will be raised from the previous 232,000 yen per month to 290,000 yen per month.
That is how you treat your employees.
Oh yeah. That is some wonderful incentive. Assuming that I'm assuming they got this because Elden Ring is just like, you know, selling like hotcakes, and you know that's some good ass incentive because you know you made a good game, it's selling well, and so
good is an understatement.
Okay, so let's talk about Elden Ring really quickly, and by let's talk about it, I mean just listen to me talk about it. So yes, nice. This article does say that the announcement follows a strong release for Elden Ring, which launched to fantastic reviews and keeps getting bigger on Steam. It also says, which I think is really important, that the publisher has had to apologize for performance issues, but that doesn't appear to have severely dented the reputation of what many are calling one of the best games of all time. I am not a Souls person, so I'm gonna give y'all my quick feelings on Elden Ring. I've enjoyed it, which is surprisingly ridiculous because yes, Gabe, you have the ring.
The precious.
I bought it assuming that I was gonna, you know, play it like I played what was the one that came out on PS5? Quickly. Demon
Souls.
I thought I was gonna play it like Demon Souls. I stopped playing Demon Souls. I still want to play Elden Ring. I beat a boss and I felt like I was a badass, and it was an emotional moment. It took me 4 hours. I was very upset that it took me 4 hours. Now you guys might be like, why did it take you 4 hours, Joe? Because I left and came back because I was like, fuck you, bitch, I'm not gonna do this. And then I like left and I was like, no, I'm gonna go beat its ass. So I went back and I did it, I fucking did it, guys. However, I will say, although that game is enjoyable, it's not the greatest game of all time for me, but that's also just because it's not my style of game, which is fair. They have one weird ass afro in the game, so maybe with that increase in yen, they can increase their diversity in character creators, because the afro that Gabe's character has is not the business.
I switched that shit out.
Okay, it's really not great. It's the only real black hairstyle aside from like a low cut. Not the best. I mean, I'm not really complaining because you barely see your character. You're always in a hood or some shit or a helmet or something. Not the business. Also, that latest update gave performance issues. I had to delete my file, delete the game and re-download it for PS5 because it was like crashing like shit. Also, the performance issues on PC, not that great. Despite all that, people think it's the greatest game of all time. That's awesome. Good job, Bandai Namco. Now make more good games.
They do. It's called Dark Souls 2.
No,
Dark
I meant
Souls
like
3,
continue. I meant continue to make
oh,
more good games. I didn't mean like you don't have any more good games. I meant continue to make more good games. So supposedly, and I'm saying this with a grain of salt, this is a rumor. The new Nvidia leak that came out has revealed the next Switch.
Spicy.
And apparently Nintendo takes about 3 to 5 years between consoles, and this is the Switch's 5th anniversary, so people are really believing that this rumor is true. The Nvidia DLSS source code leaked due to a cyber attack, and in this leak the reference to NVN2 is found, which lines up with the next version of the Switch's NVN API. Sorry?
No, Brandon sneezed, so I was saying bless you.
Oh, bless you.
Oh, thank you.
I'm sorry, I missed it. Yeah, so we might get a Switch 2. I would really love to know if you guys think that a Switch 2 is necessary at this point.
So first off, I just want to say real quick that whether I think this leak is real or not, it seems credible enough. It's not really news, if I'm being perfectly honest. And the reason why I say that is because like every company is working on their successor as soon as their newest console is out the door. They're already, because it takes years of R&D and whatever to get these consoles out. So I guarantee you that the minute, like in 2017, as soon as that Switch was out, they're already working on this Switch too. It's just that, of course, they got to keep these like details under wraps and whatnot. As far as it being like a quote Switch 2, which is basically, I'm just gonna assume it's a more powerful version of the Switch that does the same things but does games like more powerful games and whatnot. I mean, that seems to make the most sense to me, honestly, because like I would say that's the only weakness of the Switch right now is that, you know, because it is this handheld console hybrid, it does we've noticed as we've been going through the Switch life cycle, it's having a hard time playing some of the other games that other consoles are running at the moment, to the point where some of them are only getting them as cloud versions, which obviously we've talked about the fact that's not a great way to do it, but but they figure, better than nothing. Sometimes nothing is better, but anyway. But with any luck, Switch 2 would be a good way to kind of alleviate that. I just, you know, just a little hardware increase just to run games a little better, so you don't have to do the cloud version. Which I'm gonna bring up cloud version one more time because I think it's oxymoron to what the Switch is, because the Switch is like you can take your game anywhere. Oh, but the cloud version, you need a persistent online connection. So it's just like that defeats the whole purpose. Now you only got to play it at home. So why don't you just play it on another console? So I would love it if it's just an upgraded Switch could just like, you know, make that happen a lot less. And then if it's basically just based on the original Switch hardware, backwards compatibility will almost assuredly be a thing, because I don't want to like have to like lose all those games again, you know. Just want to be able to play all my old Switch games.
It's been 5 years, Brandon.
It has been 5 years.
I know.
Yeah. That's yeah, I've noticed console generations just in general are just getting longer. It used to be like 5 years. All right, when's the next console? Now you got the PlayStation 4 going from like 2019 to 2021. Nice hot 7 years. Xbox is around the same thing. Like they're getting longer, these console generations, what I'm saying. So even if this is real, this is not E3 2022 news. This is not E3 2023 news. We might see this in 2024. And then maybe it comes out that year. But this is a long ways away, is what I'm saying.
Sure. I have an off-topic question. Does anyone know how cloud gaming actually works?
Yeah, basically, there's a server that has the game, that basically has the game, and you just like, you're essentially logging into that server just so you can have access to the game. You have your own save files.
So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
My question about cloud gaming, something that I didn't understand, which hopefully you can clear up for me really quickly, is no matter how good, and this is my question, no matter how good your internet connection is, if that server is full of people all trying to play the same game at the same time, it won't work, or it'll be really shitty. No matter how good your internet is. Thank you. That's all I wanted to know.
Yeah, that happened with me when I was playing Kingdom Hearts 3. Like, I couldn't get in for the first 2 minutes because the server was full. And I was like, oh, great. So that could happen.
Yeah, okay. So I found out that was a thing when Kingdom Hearts came out, because I just thought like we were all just playing from the fucking cloud. I didn't realize that like we're all playing from the same fucking server. And so none of us can get in. How? Whatever. Anyway, like my actual question for you two was the Switch 2. Do you think it's too soon? What are you expecting? How do you feel about it? The news? Kelly?
Sorry. I don't really feel like it's necessary yet. They just came out with the OLED one. So it's like, I don't get it right now, but I have like a first gen one. So like, I guess I'd probably buy a Switch 2. I don't know if I would, but
I think what she said is important too. That is too soon, and that's the thing. We're not supposed to know this. This is exactly what I was saying. Like R&D for this started like right, if not before the original Switch came out, and this is not coming out for like several years. It definitely is too soon for this. And by the time we are ready for it, they'll have announced it. So that's kind of where I'm at on this.
I don't think we'll ever be ready. Go ahead.
The thing with Nintendo too is that they always like, I don't know, like a Switch 2 is like for them, like not impressive. Like they always have something totally new. Like
sure.
Yeah.
totally off the wall, like so much better than before, that just a different screen or like some updates is not going to cut it. They're going to like want to blow it out, because the Switch is great, but they're not going to make a Switch 2. They're going to make like the next thing.
Sure.
I think it would be out of character for them not to. Obviously, everything they've done has been like iconic. I mean, except for the Wii U, just pretend that didn't happen. But it was totally different. It was
Totally different.
It wasn't what people wanted or executed well, but it was new and a different thing.
I just hope that at least the handheld for factor goes in with whatever new thing that they're doing next. I'm always down for new, but I think that's so important, that having the ability to play the game anywhere. That was literally a game changer. Excuse the term, but
well, they had the handhelds and they had the Wii, and like then they just
someone was drinking quite a bit, right? And they were all sitting at a table, and they're like, "Why the fuck can't I just?"
And now they're
they
playing
did like that. They did like that commercial, like with the girls, like, "Why not both?"
Yes,
you know.
And it was hard,
and it was bored, and it was perfect. It's like a handheld, but also not like it's. I don't know how they're gonna top it. I don't know how you follow the Switch. I couldn't do it.
That's literally what I was gonna say when I read this. I was like, "What? Why is a Switch 2? That's my thing. Why is a Switch 2? Because I mean, the Switch is essentially perfect. What do you do to perfect it? Like, you make it maybe smaller, you make it more ergonomic, you make it feel more comfortable. You update the graphics, but like, what do you really do to change what you have? Because you can't go back from hybrid. Like, you can only go forward after you make hybrid. Like, well, technically you could go back. You can have Switch and you can have like dedicated home console. Because I mean, we did get the Switch Lite, which was, you know, the more slimmer, more ergonomic, more easier to travel with type Switch that is purely handheld. So technically you could go straight, you know, home console and then have 3 lines, right? You have your Switch Lite, you have your hybrid, and then you have your dedicated home piece. I don't know. Gabe, what do you think of the Switch 2 rumors? Don't wet me. So rude.
Bro, it's just caught me off guard.
Why? We're in the middle of a podcast. How can I catch you off guard? What is more important than what you're doing with me right now? Just kidding. Don't tell me. I don't actually want to know. Please, Switch 2.
I think it's too early for it, but like, also everyone complains about the graphics so much. I would see why they would make a more powerful version of the Switch, because y'all a bunch of babies that are constantly shitting. Yes, because you're one of the main ones. You guys are constantly, you know, just hammering down on graphics. You did it earlier this podcast with Pokemon, but like also Breath of the Wild is something that gets targeted a lot. It's like, oh my gosh, look what this game looks like, 4K race tracing. It's so beautiful. Why can't Nintendo use all that money they have to make better graphics? So I don't know. At the same time, he came back. He came back.
Yeah, I was gonna say bye and then go.
Yeah, so Brandon's leaving us now. Thank you, Brandon. I wanted to say bye. Have a wonderful night. Oh yeah,
have a good night, everyone. What's that?
No, please. I was just you guys can catch Brandon on stream. By the time you hear this, it'll probably be over. But you can
streams are coming back finally.
Yes. We're doing Triangle Strategy tomorrow. So this is recorded on Thursday, so it's happening on Friday. So you'll probably hear it on Saturday, so it'll be too late. But we're back to streaming. So there's that. Good night, Brandon.
Good night, guys. Bye.
See, that's a real one. You're a real one. He came back to say bye.
I didn't think it was going to.
I didn't either. Apologies, Gabe. He cut you off though. How rude. Oh my gosh.
I know, right? Why would they do that? Oh, but also, like, I feel like at some point, new ideas kind of do have to slow down a little bit. There's only so much like new so many new eye-opening ideas you can bring to the table. Like, to me, the only thing Nintendo would be able to do after, you know, a PS5 and Xbox and their own Switch, holographic gaming. I don't fucking know. What else could they possibly do? in terms of being a brand new console that you would bring to the table. Like, again, I don't know, maybe when it comes out, if it's slated to come out in what year are we in, 2022? If it comes out 2026 or 2027, we have better technology. But I don't know, at some point I feel like Nintendo has to be like, okay, we're running out of ideas. It's time to just kind of hunker down on one console and just upgrade it as much as we can before that new spark flies into our head again.
So did you, just so I'm sure, you said innovation is gonna stop?
It's not gonna stop, but it's gonna slow down to a point where like you kind of have to stop going for new and focus on old and make it new.
So Nintendo should just stop trying.
Oh, that's not what I'm saying.
No, but we're at that point with technology now. Like the new iPhones, like they're not like we're like at a point where it's just like
this used to be, this is how the iPhone 4 used to look, and then they made it rounded, and now we're back to it.
Well, okay.
Eventually we'll just run out of things to do. Seriously. I mean, there's only so many. Phones. Yeah. I think we're gonna go back.
No, we are like
the flip phones. What
the hell they called? Samsung made their flip phones.
Yeah.
So you're both saying that we can only go so far, and until there's new innovation, we're just going to have reiterations and fixes of what we have. And we're at that point now.
Yeah. We might not be there quite yet. I don't know. I'm not working on the research and development, but I mean, they have to be getting close. I mean, it's already a console and a handheld. What else is there? Like, really?
It's just brain chips.
I mean, it could just be another home console.
And that's another thing I was gonna say. Actually, thank you for putting my train back on track. I was gonna say
you're welcome.
You know,
although I don't want to be referred to as the person who put your train back on track anymore.
This isn't a bad.
I don't like the way it sounds. I'm sorry.
Well, you know what?
I don't want to be on your train track.
Clever. That's too bad. But I also feel like you know, maybe that is the case. Maybe Nintendo is like, you know, we're gonna go handheld home console. But now we're kind of going to branch off a little bit, and we're still going to have the Switch, but now we're going to go back to focusing on a home console.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, that could potentially be, you know, I don't want to say the next GameCube, but like, you know,
rectangle.
Sure, you know, they're like the Switch is not putting out what people want. And you know, they have the OLED updated model with the, you know, Ethernet port actually in there, nicer screen, etc. Now it's time to make a dedicated home console that's going to finally put these games, since you brought up graphics, and since I always do, we're finally going to be able to see these games the way they are meant to be, the way the developers envision them. And at the same time, that home console could also be backwards compatible with, you know, the chips that work in the Switch. You never know. We're talking about innovation here. So now you can play your Switch games, or maybe, you know, you're able to download those games that you already own on Switch directly to this new console. So you can play Breath of the Wild on that one, and then play Breath of the Wild sequel.
Don't say it. Oh, damn it. That was going to be my next point. I was going to be like, the only reason I wouldn't want a new Switch so quickly is because I don't want the next Breath of the Wild game to be the Zelda game for that console. Because they did that shit with the Wii U. And I'm not waiting another 5 years for the next Breath of the Wild game. We know too much already. They need to hurry up.
Don't rush that.
I'm rushing them.
They have to take their time to innovate, because you know they're at the end of the cycle.
Because here's the thing. As a Zelda fan,
are you about to Breath of the Wild me for 30 minutes? Because I'm gonna cut you off if that's what's
it's gonna be for 2 seconds. I just want to make a point, because people are like, why is he rushing Breath of the Wild 2? Bro, we had Breath of the Wild 2 announced 3 years ago. Since then, a new Fire Emblem game has been announced, a new Bayonetta 3 has been announced, and a new Xenoblade 3 has been announced. Several Pokemon games have been announced, and they all have dates. It hurts. I'm done.
The only reason I will give that to you is because
and Kirby.
because Nintendo has been, and I've praised them for this, they've been really good at announcing games like a few months before they come out, sometimes like weeks before they come out, and usually we don't have to wait. And that's why I'm giving you this, because Zelda is clearly not
the problem
on that for
Zelda is that it's usually announced and then it takes like 5 to 6 years to come out. At least we're not Metroid fans.
Well, it's been 5 years.
I know.
But also, yeah, at least we're not Metro fans because that would suck. So
Poor
Sony,
bastards.
Sony accounted for 46% of all spending on console games, hardware, and services. Is that surprising to you all?
A little bit.
The console market, by the way, grew a record $60 billion in 2021 with, what did I just say? Well, they weren't listening. You see, guys?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you were
They
trying
never listened to
I'm
me.
not sure what you were trying to get
I
back
was listening.
into.
I'm just not exactly sure what you're trying to say.
46%.
There it was, 46%. That's what I was saying.
Oh.
Sony accounted for 46% of all money spent on console games, hardware, and services through 2021, which includes that $61 billion made. Is that surprising to you guys that Sony accounted for almost 50% of that?
Yeah, because wasn't the Xbox supposed to be the nice, cheap, affordable console everyone can get their hands on?
Mm-hmm. Is there more to your point?
Oh, that's my sassy point.
I don't get it. Can you elaborate?
I don't want to now.
I don't understand. I don't want to assume where you're going.
Because the whole thing about the Xbox was like, oh my gosh, it's cheaper. It's more. Oh, why is my screen shaking? It's not shaking anymore. I am seeing things. It was like, oh, it's more affordable. What was the other point?
Wait, Jarrell, so that's money, right? 46%. Okay, well, Xboxes, if they cost less, they generate less money.
I was just gonna say that.
No,
That's why I was waiting for him to explain himself.
Okay, but like also, you guys made me lose my train of thought again.
Sorry. I mean, what Kelly said, right? They're more accessible. However, they cost less. So there's only one version of the PS5, and that entry fee is what, $600, $640.
Well,
I'm sorry.
okay, the one is 500, and then
One is
400.
600. What?
400.
No.
It's 400
One's
to 500.
Yes, the digital is only $400.
So why did I
Yeah.
pay $600? Did I not pay $600?
Well, with tax.
I
with
did not.
tax.
You
Wait.
also might have gotten a bundle.
I got a
No.
bundle. so
I
it's
did
like
not get a
60.
bundle. Also, it's $4.99 and $5.99.
Mhm.
Am I wrong?
No, $3.99.
No, bro,
and
it's
$3.99 and
$4.99.
$4.99. Good thing I'm not reporting on prices.
And the Xbox was
$2.99
starting
and
point of
$2.99.
$2.99.
Yeah, $3.99.
Yeah.
And recently, actually, I think as of last year, we talked about the Xbox finally breaking even, right? Like, because they were all selling at a loss for like the first year and a half, maybe 2 years, I believe, or something like that. No,
I have no idea. I don't remember.
But also, so this does say that spending on actual games content encompassing full titles, expansion packs, in-game items, and battle passes held steady when compared to 2020, declining by just 1%. But all of that is also included. And so meanwhile, game services such as Xbox Game Pass are increasing their share of total console spending. Combined revenues from Xbox Live Gold, Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, PlayStation Plus, PlayStation Now, and Nintendo Switch Online are estimated to account for 19% of all spending on games content. So that's a lot. That's a lot. I do think this is a little surprising that Sony was 46%. However, I remember that I think we talked about and if we didn't talk about it, I will bring it up right now that never mind, I won't bring it up because I don't have it here, but the PlayStation 5 was only, and this is, I could be making this all up, so take this also with a grain of salt, but the PlayStation 5 was only not outselling the Switch because it was unavailable. Like, more people actually wanted to purchase the console than was available. And when people do get their hands on it, well, I mean, we talked about up to March, right? Like from January to March, we talked about 4 exclusives on PlayStation that did really well score-wise. So PlayStation still does have exclusives that people are able to buy that you're going to spend more money on, and therefore they're gonna end up making more money. We also know, because we talked about this before too, that they are charging for crossplay more so than Xbox or Switch. It's essentially, especially with Fortnite, right? Like PlayStation charges Epic to be able to allow Fortnite to be crossplay, whereas as far as we know, Microsoft and Nintendo don't. So there's a lot of revenue streams coming in for Sony and PlayStation in gaming specifically. And Horizon did really good. Elden Ring, I don't know the stats for Elden Ring. However, I do know that it is not crossplay. So I cannot play with people on PC or Xbox. So if all of your friends have a PS5 and they're all going to play Elden Ring on PS5, because it is a proven fact that Elden Ring runs better on PS5, and it's a proven fact that the load times are better on PS5 and it looks better on PS5. More people are essentially going to have it on PS5. And if you want to play with your friends, you got to buy it on PS5. And I think I saw something somewhere about one of the reasons that this is because more developers, and this is also could be me just making shit up, but I'm sure I read this somewhere. More developers are developing games with the PS5 in mind and then porting to Xbox. And that's why you'll have games that are going to run better on the PlayStation 5 than they do on console, such as Elden Ring. And that can, of course, sway people's purchases because I guess it's kind of like, are you going to just make your game and then have it put out on Game Pass? Or are you going to try to make it an exclusive and sell it for $70 a pop and get all your money back? I don't fucking know. I'm going to stop talking. Anyway, I'm assuming that is not surprising to you guys, or it is. What were you saying, Gabe?
What's the question?
Is it surprising to you that 46% of gaming from last year went to PlayStation?
Yeah.
Oh, what about you?
No, it's not surprising. I don't know the answer anymore.
Do you find that surprising?
Not really, just because the consensus was that PS5 was winning in the console war, so that doesn't really surprise me.
It's just a lot. I think what surprises me the most is that it's almost 50% between like Xbox, Switch, and PlayStation. The fact that PlayStation made up almost 50% of that is
thing is that like the Switch, I feel like whatever, they had a lot of stuff. I want to say like that Xbox was second place and like Nintendo was third, just because Xbox also had the most like new console, like the PS5, but like
and Game Pass.
Yeah, I don't feel like that was the case though. I don't know.
That shit wild. I wish I made Sony money. Anyway, so Brian Altano made this tweet that said, one of my favorite things about Elden Ring, it's quiet and lonely. It doesn't talk your ear off. The main character is mostly silent. It largely just leaves you alone and lets you be. Lots of modern games don't do that. Elden Ring does, and I really love it. We were talking, not with you guys, but I was talking with Brandon and Dylan, wonderful Dylan. I'm sorry, never mind. I won't get into that. I was talking to Brandon and Dylan about that game that's coming out tomorrow, Triangle Strategy, and how it just talks way too much for its own good. How do you guys feel about games that talk? Another game that talks way too much, fucking Pokemon Arceus. Some of y'all just be talking for no fucking reason. Like y'all don't have shit to say. You just want to talk to me. It's my fault for going to talk to them, but you never know. They might have a quest or something. Or they might be giving something away. I don't fucking know. That's why I talk to everybody. Do you guys prefer your games to be quiet and lonely and just let you be? Okay, well, that was easy. Why?
Yes. Because shut up. It's so annoying. It's like you said, I don't like I don't like games that talk too much, which a little hypocritical of me to say because I play Fire Emblem, but and Dragon Quest. But also especially for single player games like that, that they're supposed to be quote unquote open world. I don't want the entire beginning of the game, let's say the first 2-3 hours, to just be people telling me about the events of the game. Elden Ring, like much of other Dark Souls games, is you go in, you get your cinematic entrance, a very loose idea of what the plot is.
That shit made no sense.
Exactly. The point of the game is you're supposed to find out about the game through exploration.
Mm-hmm.
But you get your opening cinematic and that's it. The next cinematic you get is when you're going towards the main boss. And that's the only type of cinematics you're going to get. You're not going to get these random dialogue cinematic. Oh my gosh, what the hell is that game? Tales of Arise. I know these are optional, but you know when you're running around and all of a sudden it's like on the bottom it says, I think it's R1 and L1. It's like it'll give the title of the little scene.
Yes.
Like, bro, shut up. Just I know you can't put that somewhere else, but I hate that. I don't know. I just like when I play a game, I want to play the game. If I wanted talking and all this back and forth that's not automated, but like that's put into the game, I'd go watch a fucking movie. There does not need to be that much still talking or like me not moving my character in a game.
Oh my god. Okay.
I'm sorry, but I've always felt that way about like open world games that talk too much. Is, you know who else is at fault for doing that shit? Skyrim, bro.
Oh my god. This has turned into a rant.
I'm sorry, Skyrim does this too. Like, everyone can agree, the opening scene of Skyrim, as much as we love the game, after the 12th time is annoying. And that's why when we all start the game again, we start with a new life mod, which just ports you somewhere random.
Can you not just skip it?
No, that's the other thing. There's no button to skip the opening. But yeah, I like quiet games where you just go and explore. So that's basically what Elden Ring is go wherever the fuck you want and die or explore.
Tales of Arise is not an open world game, I just want to say.
No, yeah, I know. And that's another thing. Like, obviously, some genres of game have that's part of what they are. You know, the talking, the back and forth between characters. But then, you know, when it comes to open world games, though, whatever.
Well, Kelly, I feel like I know your answer because you like scary games, and I feel like the less talking, the better. But I'll ask you anyway. What do you prefer and why?
I don't want any talking. Like honestly, Jarrell, you'll be happy to know I was playing Final Fantasy 14
Finally!
before the podcast, and there's so much fucking talking.
There is a lot of dialogue.
I'm trying to like get back into it, so I'm just playing some of those stupid like little side quests, you know.
Oh,
my
I
God.
skipped them all.
Well, I'm going back because I just don't want to do dungeons or anything hard. So I'm like doing all the stupid like go get a cabbage from this guy and blah blah
Yeah.
blah. But like even that, there's cutscenes,
Yep.
there's talking. I'm like, I just gave you a cabbage. Like, what the fuck are you
Why do we
talking
have to
about?
talk about it?
I don't know, but I still love the game, obviously. But it's just there's a lot of talking. I don't give a shit about talking because
Yeah.
it's all the same.
Mhm.
Like if you get on like a game, it's gonna be some bullshit. Like there's very few games that I've been like, like it's not.
You know, it's so funny because Final Fantasy 14, I feel the same way. Like the side shit, I'm like, oh my fucking god, how much do you have to
never
tell me about
ends.
this fucking cabbage, bitch? Just fucking take it. However, the main story shit, so good. I recommend no one skip it. It is really fucking amazing. I'm still getting through Shadowbringers. It is probably the best MMO story I've ever played. That shit, I cried in the beginning. There's literally I took a picture of myself fucking crying because I was like, bitch, I just started this shit. What the fuck is going on? Like, why am I crying already? So fucking good. Don't skip that one. But yeah, skip that side quest shit. Nobody gives a fuck. Or me, I'll answer really quickly. In response, Gabe. Tales of Arise, I love the characters, so I don't really mind when they talk. However, I do agree that shit pops up so often that sometimes it's just like, I just want to play, but every 5 steps I take, they have to have a fucking conversation. And it's really annoying because I really want to hear what they have to say because I'm really enjoying the game and I'm liking the characters, but it just happens too often. I'm just like, fuck y'all, we just had a cutscene, we just beat a boss, and now like 5 of you want to fucking talk? Like, I walk 2 steps and another one shows up, and I hate it because I want to hear it, but it's just too often. And then with something like 3 Houses, I was so invested in that because the writing was so good that I actually didn't fucking mind. I read everything and had no problems with that game because I cared about, you know, my students and that. So I do think for me, it depends on, I'm also used to reading a lot as a fucking English major, y'all. All I did for 4 fucking years was fucking read, okay? Like, my biggest accomplishment to this date is reading The Lord of the Rings in a week. Don't recommend it. That is not easy. Like, what, sir? I also read Game of Thrones in a week.
Oh, see,
Don't
that's impressive
recommend
because
it.
it takes me a
That's
week to read a page.
That shit, don't recommend it. And I had a quiz every fucking week. Like on Friday, we had a quiz every week.
What really quick? What's because we're talking about Elden Ring, and now you just mentioned Game of Thrones. Did you see where they put a non-restrictive restriction on George R.R. Martin when he was writing things for Elden Ring?
I did not.
Well, they put an unrestricted restriction on him because they didn't want him. What was it? I think it was they didn't want him to feel like he had to solely write for a game. They wanted him to write as he was telling a story, but they didn't want him to write such a big story that things would get lost. So I'm like, that's funny because someone should have done that for Game of Thrones, so we could have gotten a proper ending to the show.
Okay, no, but okay. In his defense,
it was a joke. It was a joke. It was a joke.
I was just gonna say the books are good. The show was not. So like, I can say
the
that
show was good.
Okay, whatever.
The ending was not.
I'm talking as someone who didn't finish the show. So, but someone who did read the books for class and failed the quiz anyway because.
Why would you do that to yourself?
Why would I do? Okay, but like, let me say the reason I failed the quiz is because I read Storm of Swords in a fucking week, which is while also taking other classes. Okay, number one. And having to read fucking Shakespeare and shit. Okay, so it was a lot. And the only reason I failed that quiz is because one of the questions was like, what the fuck was Arya fighting in the yard? And I was like, bitch, I don't fucking know what Arya was fighting in the yard. I will never forget to this day. It was fucking chickens. But I didn't know at the time because I didn't think that was gonna be a stupid fucking question. I don't give a fuck what that bitch was fucking fighting. Who cares? So that's the only reason I failed that quiz because I forgot what that bitch was fighting. I didn't take notes when I was reading saying, oh, Arya's fighting a chicken. I should probably write that down. Like that's I love my professor, so I'm gonna talk shit, but that was bullshit. One last thing that I want to talk about before I let you guys go, because it's close to midnight and I have to be at work in 4 hours. Don't know if you guys saw, but the Kotaku staff is now on strike. And we've had some of their content on this show before. We've talked about some of their articles, including I think the latest one that we were talking about that was a little controversial was the one about white women not being progressive. They've also had some things that I haven't agreed with that I can't think of off the top of my head, which I should have totally thought about before I did this podcast. But you know, I was actually cutting Patreon stickers, so anyone who's listening who's a Patreon member is coming. I'm just a single person, okay? I'm single now. I don't have a boyfriend anymore who I can force to cut stickers for me, and my friends are too busy, so they're coming, people. I'm just one person with 2 hands and 10 fingers, so I should be very thankful that I have that. But yeah, they're coming. I'm cutting stickers and working on the new website, so give me a fucking minute. But I appreciate you all. More people help us out. We have a lot of things that we need to work on anyway. So Kotaku, they are on strike because since, and I'll read this for you guys, since January 31st, the Gizmodo Media Group Union and Geos Media's outside counsel have met 5 times every session. The company's outside counsel sidestepped and delayed, refusing to provide written counter proposals, to the union's good faith proposals. How can you bargain a contract when the people across the table won't even clearly state what they're advocating for? We have not made this choice to strike lightly. Please read about the company proposals we're fighting below. These are the proposals. Endangering our healthcare. Management insists on removing all guarantees that our current healthcare benefits and cost sharing will continue. Management doesn't want to codify the widely accepted WPATH standards of care for our trans and gender expansive colleagues. That is, first of all, crazy to me because I feel like Kotaku is one of the most diverse when it comes to trans and LGBT websites out there, and they write about it a lot. Another one, lowballing salaries during unprecedented inflation, which is affecting all of us. After a year of unprecedented inflation, management proposed raising the minimum salary tier for our lowest paid colleagues and no one else. Management's insistence on offering new hires the minimum tier negatively affects our recruitment and talent retention. Insisting on no mean tweets. Management insists on including no social media campaigns in the strike clause. You know what that means? No mean tweets about Jim Spanfeller and our poor working conditions. That's the actual one that I want to talk about. Insisting on return to office. After producing years of journalism from our homes to great success, management refuses to add work from home flexibility into the contract, even though return to office plans were twice delayed due to COVID variant spikes, kicking diversity efforts down the road. GMG Union wants a robust diversity hiring initiative with the budget to back it up. Rather than codify this in our contract, management wants to punt further discussions about possible diversity efforts to our diversity committee. And finally, threatening possible forced relocations. Many of our colleagues were remote workers before COVID-19 changed our lives, and management refuses to, codify their remote positions. GMG Union insists on protection from forced relocations to the NYC office. Those are all the things that they are currently on strike for. And while I'm not asking you guys whether you think those things are, bad or good or whatever, what I do want to ask is your opinion on how you think this would affect you if you were in that situation, and what you think is the best thing to do in that situation. Were you there, or just your general thoughts on this strike? But specifically, I wanted to talk about their insisting on no mean tweets and insisting on return to office, because obviously at HP Critical, we all work from wherever the fuck we are. None of us are in the same place. I was able to hang out with Christy and Vikas recently, but I have not been able to hang out with Christy or Gabe yet. I was able to hang out with Brandon recently, but all of us are obviously in,
Nothing, keep going.
I didn't. When did we hang out, Gabe?
No. You said because you said you hung out with Christy and Vikas, then you said you haven't been able to hang out with Gabe or Christy.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, I think you meant Kelly.
I did mean Kelly. My bad. It's because they're both beautiful and I mixed them up. Because they both start with K. They're pretty K girls. And that was probably sexist. I'm sorry. It's not my fault y'all are pretty. What the fuck? Stop being so damn pretty.
Sexist. What?
I don't know what's going on. I don't understand why they think they can be pretty and just like post all these pretty pictures and then assume that I'm not going to call them pretty. Okay, anyway. Specifically, I wanted to talk about the no mean tweets and the relocation and how you would feel if you were in that situation. But before I do that, do you have any overall thoughts about the strike and like anything you want to say about it?
Stay strong.
Yeah, really, because like to make me go back to the office now, I'll just quit.
Okay, see, yeah, that's what I was going to talk about, because we all have done game journalism, just working with HP Critical. I don't understand why you would force anyone, as long as they're doing their work, especially in games journalism, to go back home, because the entirety of the job can be done from your home. There is absolutely not a single thing that I can think of, whether it be video editing, whether it be article editing, whether it be SEO checks, whether it be meetings that could be done over Zoom, even reviewing games, you get the code, you can do it at your house. There's not a single thing that I can think of that would require a game journalist to work in an office to get their work done, unless you're just not doing the work, in which case, fine, take your ass back.
That's such
like
a
the companies
big thing.
They just think they need to be micromanaged.
Mm-hmm.
Because like, to be honest, in a virtual environment, who's managing you? Maybe those positions would have to go or something. Like, it's really, I don't know. It's hard to stay self-motivated, but if they're getting the work done, I don't understand the point, unless it's all about someone needs to be breathing down your neck just so you look productive or something.
That's such a big thing though, like with all jobs that are making all their employees go back to working in an office. It's like, we literally just got out of 2 years of doing it at home and my work is done. Like, you see my work is done, you're getting everything on time. And I think it's just such an old-timey way of just, like Kelly said, people want to micromanage. They want to be breathing down your necks, making sure you're doing your work, or making sure that you're working in every minute of the day that you're actually, supposed to be working. That's just like, if you're not doing anything, that's stealing company time. Like, it's such a dumb thing, but to this day, I haven't seen anybody give an actual plausible, realistic, concrete answer as to why, if someone can do their job from home, they have to be in an office. Yeah. Aside from, we need to make sure you're actually doing your work. and working around the clock.
But see, that's also the reason it doesn't make any sense to me with it being specifically in games journalism, is because anyone who's freelanced for websites before knows that you don't get paid unless you do the work. Like, if I have bills to pay, bitch, I'm gonna write this fucking article. Like, what do you think I'm gonna fucking do?
And there's ways to track what employees are doing without tracking how much they're sitting working at the computer. Like, there's numbers that they have to hit, like how many words, how many articles, how much engagement is it getting? That's like all stuff that you can easily track.
Yep. Without
looking at someone doing the work. I don't know why they'd want them to go back, but a lot of companies are, just because they've rented these buildings. They're trying to, there's a lot, because you do have to have like a place of business to pay employees out of.
Yeah, of course.
So I guess they're paying for that, but just rent a smaller space.
Exactly. And if y'all want to be that so bad, y'all go. Shit.
That's
Have
what I'm
fun.
saying.
So all of you can sit in a fucking circle all day and talk about whatever the fuck y'all want in the office, Monday through Friday. Leave my ass at home. I will submit my shit. Don't call me on my off hours either. That's it.
Yeah. But at least they're going on strike for it, because to be honest, they probably just have to go back. But if we say, oh, we're not coming back, they're going to have to change it, because if nobody comes back, okay, bye.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and there's this whole like the diversity thing, which is, yeah, we totally want to hire more diverse people, but we're just gonna throw it to y'all to do yourselves. That's not how that works, because every time something like this happens, you'll hire a bunch of diverse people, you hire some women, you hire some POC, and you throw them in, and then there's literally no support for them when they get there, because it's not from the top, it's from you guys just forcing it on other people. And that's why Blizzard only has 2 women working on the board, and they can't find a fucking third woman, and that's why all these women had all these fucking issues, because there's no support there for them. And that's what happens when you throw diversity off to someone else so you can check a fucking box. GMG people, pay attention. But I just find it so interesting, the no mean tweets clause, that they can't like tweet negatively about this. I don't even understand how that works. Like, I would probably lose my job if I was there. Like, I don't, like, 100%, I would talk mad shit about all of them, and most likely lose my job, because I don't think I could not tweet about how unfairly I was being treated at this place, because it's really important.
It could go like really good for you. Like, another company's like, we'll never treat you like that, and they want you. Or it could go really bad and you just get fired and nobody gives a shit.
Nobody wants you because they see all my shit.
But like, if you go viral, people will want you. But if not, like, if you're not clever, you're screwed.
But I don't even necessarily believe that all the way. Like, I kind of agree with you, but I do think that if my mean tweets are just saying I was treated unfairly by this person at my workplace and this is the result of it, I don't think that's necessarily too bad. But I do also believe that someone's going to read that and be like, this motherfucker talk too much. I can't mistreat him, so I'm not going to hire him.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, is probably for the best. Don't hire me. Wait, do hire me. Whatever. Do what you want. Like, do whatever you want. Anything else you guys want to talk about before we close? 3, 2, 1? No? Everybody's good?
No.
All right, well, this was a great conversation. I missed you guys. It was so wonderful to have you back. Oh my god, he cares. Y'all hear that? I got it on recording. He cares. I was missing one thing, which was that anime and Funimation, not anime, Crunchyroll and Funimation are finally merging, and they're gonna be this one big anime conglomerate of greatness. And then Gabe's just gonna yell about it, which you guys can hear his yelling about it next week, because we're finished for tonight. Goodbye, everybody.
But with that note, before that, make sure you make a Crunchyroll account. If you only have Funimation, they will give you 60 days free trial.
All right, well, now, good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye.